It was just beautiful to watch Joanna working with 60 people. And subsequent to that, I witnessed her work, and I participated and also did her work. And it has been just so fulfilling and satisfying to see how this work has flowered. My name is Sally Craig. I met Joanna and her family in 1966 when I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Tunisia. Her husband, Fran, was the Peace Corps director. And we became fast friends and worked and traveled together for many, many years. Our families vacationed together. And then I had started going to work to do some consulting work in the former Soviet Union in 1990. And Fran was invited to commemorate the 5th anniversary of the Chernobyl accident in April of 1991, and they invited me to go with them to the village of Novozybkov, which was in southwest Russia. On May 1st, the radioactive plume was headed towards Moscow, and so the Russian government decided to seed the clouds, and the fallout fell on this village. And it had a devastating effect on the people of this village. It was a long-term effect. The kids started getting sick. The people had a tradition of spending their summers gathering mushrooms and berries and going into the forests and the woods, and they could no longer do that because the forests were contaminated now. And so the people were staying in their homes, and all of their social networks depended on their ability to go out into the fields and to be together for like half of the year. They were unable to do that. So we arrived in Novozybkov and started interviewing various people, the teachers, the doctors. We even went and interviewed the mayor. And at this point, the workshop had not been designed. It was going to be a 3-day workshop, but we were still sort of collecting information about the effect that the accident had had 5 years earlier. And so Joanna had the brilliant idea of an understanding that what was really damaged more than their physical immune system was their social immune system. And she put together a brilliant 3-day event, workshop, training to strengthen their social immune system. So, for example, just to get them into small groups, talking to each other about the effect that this had had on them was radical. They hadn't talked to each other about this. And it was so moving to see them open up with each other and start talking about what it was like not to be able to go to their garden plots and to go into the forest. And so that, I think we probably kept most of those 60 people. On the 3rd day, the mayor even came, which was quite a surprise because he had been kind of, functionary and kind of official, and he was going to give it we had to get his permission to do it. But word must have gotten out that something was really happening in this, I can't even remember where we were, but it was a lovely big room. And the mayor came for the last day. And on the last day, Joanna decided to sort of pull it all together by teaching the Elm Dance. Now, the Elm Dance started as part of the resistance in Estonia. The Estonian people had what was called the Singing Revolution, and they started doing the Elm Dance as a way of protesting, Soviet occupation. So I can't remember how Joanna had learned about the Elm Dance, but she just loved it. And so she spent the last part of the 3-day workshop teaching people the Elm Dance. And we did the Elm Dance over and over and over. They loved it. They took to it right away. They kept wanting to do it. We would try to end the workshop and they would say, well, can we just do the Elm Dance one more time? And can we learn how to teach the Elm Dance to the children? Can we have the music to the Elm Dance? This was just the most healing thing that I could imagine. And to be able to witness this was just, one of the high point experiences of my life. And I think these stories are still being told. These beautiful processes that she developed are still being practiced and still being used. And her legacy is, it didn't start at Novozybkov in Chernobyl, but I know that it will continue, certainly for as long as people know that name and know that work, the work that reconnects.